Hey guys, it's yours truly, back again with yet another video. So if you guys are new here, if you haven't seen me before, hi, I'm Emmy, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've already been here before. So for today, I'm going to be talking about black-eyed children, which is an urban legend that has been passed around for quite a while. So if you want to look into that, make sure you stay tuned for the video. So black-eyed children, basically a very popular urban legend where people have said to have seen kids show up at their doors, sometimes at their car, pretty late at night usually, and they've noticed the kids will be very insistent and they will always want to either come into their houses or come into their cars, just basically be in their vicinity. And they usually tend to show up and make excuses about how they need to call their parents, or they're being in a bad situation, you need to call the cops, things like that, in order to entice you into allowing them to come in. Now, what is being said is that mainly they are quote-unquote demons slash demonic beings who some even say it may even be aliens, who basically lure in the people by disguising themselves as children in order to bring bad luck. Now again, this is an urban legend, so all these things, there's a lot of accounts of people have claimed to see it, but there's no real, not to say no real evidence, but we don't really know, because again, this is an urban legend. But what's interesting in this case is usually it's said that they show up pretty late, and they usually have a certain way of speaking, a certain way of enticing you. Again, a lot of the times it's claims like they're in danger and they need to call the police. Sometimes it's things like I've lost my parents, I don't know where they are, can I use their phone? Things are very insistently like I need to, make a call, I need to be in your home. And it's said that when the people open the door, the way that they talk to them, for some reason people find themselves lured in, and they almost start opening their door more and more, and they catch themselves usually before the kid gets into the house. They kind of catch themselves like, oh my god, no, actually I don't feel comfortable, and they close the door. That's how some of these stories go. So a couple of them, they say that it's almost like they hypnotize them. It's usually said that during these encounters, the person who is opening the door is usually gonna find themselves seeing the black eyes, because again, the way that these children are described, almost like a bug-like or like an alien-like eye, where it's just there's no real, they don't have the whites in their eyes, it's just completely dark. What is said is that usually because of that, you get an alarm. It's freaky because they're not human looking. Well, they're human looking but not fully human looking. Now, there's a couple of stories online, notably on Reddit, and especially there's a whole server for black-eyed kids stories on Reddit, where a lot of people have claimed to have seen and encountered them, and some have stories of how those things went. There's also a couple videos actually on sometimes YouTube and things like that, online mainly, where you can see what looks to be like perhaps a black-eyed kid, but they're usually blurry and they're not really well shot, so we can't really tell. And of course, a lot of videos can also be edited and whatnot. So, but again, these are little things that are out there, and they serve to promote the myth of the black-eyed children. Some of these encounters have basically claimed that once they allow themselves to allow the children into their house, even if afterwards they may push them back out, they said that the moment that they revealed their eyes, their black eyes, and they basically allowed their presence in, they're said to be struck with bad luck. There's stories about some lady who allowed them in and her cat started dying all of a sudden afterwards. There's a lot of stories where it's said that if you allow them in, you encounter extreme bad luck. The people around you start to fall sick, or there's death starts to surround some people or some animals or not in your vicinity. But again, it's all part of the urban legend, and so we don't really know. If it's true or not. But it's something to take note of. Tales of the black-eyed children actually have existed for quite a while now, ever since the 1980s. But most sources basically indicate that the original legend basically came from a 1996 posting written by a Texas reporter named Brian Bettel, and basically he reported a ghost-related mailing list where he alleged to have encountered two black-eyed kids. And Bettel described encountering these kids in Abilene, Texas, again 1996. And he claims that a second person had a similar but unrelated encounter in Portland, Oregon. Again, we don't really know the validity of this story or whatnot, but it's interesting to know that he's the very first person that's really came out with a story on this. And again, it was in 1996, but there are countings of these stories even down to the 80s. So this has been something that has been going on for quite a while now. Now, I found this story on the Black Eyed Kids Stories Reddit, which is a Reddit filled with encounters that people claim to have had, where this one was posted a day ago, and I thought it was kind of an interesting little story. It's different from what you usually hear of the stories of Black Eyed Kids, but basically, I'm gonna read it really quickly for you guys. I once worked at a non-profit, being the program assistant for a drop-in day center for homeless families. My boss was fired and replaced by a real pain in the ass. This woman was horrible, so much in fact I set a meeting with her boss, the director. As I'm walking towards his office, I was thinking, control my attitude, my words, etc. I'm really upset with the way my new boss is behaving. So I make it down the hallway up the flight of stairs and I can see his doorway. As I approach, I see him and he's sitting at a table that seats 8, and he's pointing to the seat he wants me to sit in, right beside him. I'm already nervous. I set down my things and begin to look up at him. He's motionless. Eyes wide open, eyes peering. Solid black eyes. Solid black eyes, like no white at all. Just unblinking, piercing eyes looking into mine. I froze. Nobody else around to see this. Instant dread and the sense of pure evil came over me. I could barely speak, but I mumbled some of my issues and, as quickly as possible, left his office. I've always noticed he had a weird thing with blinking in his hands. Almost like he would long blink while controlling his hands in front of groups of people. Not the case when I was in his office. Completely creepy. His eyes were normally a blue-gray. Not black with no white at all. So the moral of the story is, if you encounter any black-eyed child, do not interact with them, don't speak to them. Anyways, so that was my video for today. So let me know in the comments, have you guys ever had any weird experience with any like black-eyed kids? Do you guys really believe in any of these things? Let me know, leave it all in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, again, make sure that you hit the like, subscribe, follow me on my Twitch if you want to. I stream every so often. My schedule really does change as to when I want to stream, but if you follow me, you can catch me whenever I'm on there. It's tons of fun. We play video games on my Twitch, and sometimes we do live art streams. If not, you can also follow me on my Instagram, where I do a lot of things like, again, more art. I do also a lot of special effects makeup and things like that on my Instagram, so if you want to see that kind of realm, follow me on there. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one.